Alright, so in case you're in a hurry, let's do a recap before the video, just to get you moving along. A couple key points here. Unload the body weight from the spring. It'll make it a lot easier getting these out, and you won't have any surprising jolts when everything unloads. So use a jack and get the body weight off the spring somehow. These will unbolt and slide right out. Take your shackles off, take your old bushings out, put the new ones in there. Make sure you use lots of grease. Make sure the spacers are in there. When putting these back together, it might help some to put a ratchet strap from one leaf spring to the next to kind of adjust them if necessary to get the bolt alignment correctly. It also helps a lot on the backside. Over here, by the way, hit all of this with PB Blaster. It might save you having to replace some bolts. Mine were thoroughly seized up. It's a 4-inch long, 1/2-inch bolt. Go ahead and get them ahead of time. They're not that expensive, and it might save you a lot of time down the road. So when you try to take these out and you find out that they're rusted to the spacer in the bushing, you can just cut these bolts out, drop the spring down, and not worry about it. So on this side, I lifted right here, got the weight of the frame off the spring, tried to get the bolts out. They wouldn't come out. Took a cutoff wheel, cut them off, spring drops down, pop out your old bushings, put the new ones in. The alignment was kind of tricky. A ratchet strap between the front leaf springs, kind of pulled these flush up against the mount and made it a lot easier to realign. I also used a long punch to kind of work the other side into position. Hopefully that'll save you some time, so let's get back to the video and watch it all be done. So I already changed out the front ones, and it made such a difference in ride quality and regard to smoothness that I decided to go ahead and order another kit to do the rear. I've still got to put the rear bushings on the front leaf springs, so I'll go ahead and start with that, and then we will move to the rear leaf springs, which are identical to the front springs. So let's check it out. I guess we can start with unboxing the package and see what you actually get. So over here I've actually got the leftovers from the first kit that I got for the front. The front and rear are the same. Let's see what you're getting in here. And this is the energy suspension. And you get a box, some packing. Alright, and then inside the box here, improved handling, increased durability, restored performance, and better than new. These new bushings, everything being greased and spaced correctly. Oh yeah, by the way, I didn't have any spacers in between my shackles, so that was not helping anything either. But putting all fresh stuff in there, everything smoothed out a lot just by changing out the front shackle bushings. So definitely thought it worth it to go ahead and change out the rear leaf spring bushings and the rear bushing on the front leaf springs. So this nice bag. Alright, so just in case you don't know, you get a bunch of differently sized bushings. So the small ones are for your front shackles, and the large ones are for the rear of the leaf spring. Just kind of go up like that. Spacer pin goes through them, and all this is between or inside the spring and between the shackles themselves, or the mount. So here's what you get there. Good thing to note is that there are two different size spacer pins also. They're all the same diameter, but you get two that are slightly longer. And that's for the difference in width for the rear bushing versus the front shackle bushings. Kind of see that minor difference there. So having those spaced is critical for everything to move smooth. Then in addition to the spacers, you can get a couple packs of grease. I actually got 3 in the first pack, and I got 2 in this one. But a couple packs of this Formula 5 pre-lube. And some instructions. It says when installing urethane bushings, apply grease as instructed. These are the instructions. You should be instructing me. Well, basically the way I took that is put a little bit of grease everywhere and on these things to make it all nice and slick. Alright, let's change them out. So I'm going to lift the front end up a little bit to relieve stress off this spring. And I'm just going to back this bolt out and it should pop right out. Alright, well now that we got that loose, I'm just gonna hammer the heck out of it until I can get that bushing out of there, and if it gives me much trouble, I'll put some oil on there. Hopefully, it'll just, oh man, look at that. No hammering required. At all. Well, that's nice. That was substantially easier than the front ones. Look how mangled up that is. Let's see if I get a light on it. All kinds of rust and corrosion. That will definitely ride smoother. Well, I'm gonna clean this out real quick. I'm gonna grease up the new bushings, new shaft, slide everything back into place. Alright, well after a lot of fussing around with those rear bushings, it seems like it's a lot easier to get that bolt back through the spring eye if you take a ratchet strap and pull the front springs together, because they kind of want to tow away, I guess, under the weight, making it real hard to get that bolt back in. But a little bit of tension with that ratchet strap on those front springs made that real easy. Let's get the back ones now. Alright, let's go ahead and get these back bushings ready to go. Get them greased up. And don't forget to separate the long spacers from the short spacers. Otherwise, you're going to end up having to take one bushing set apart. So, there's the long ones. Here's all the short ones. We're going to get some grease on there. This grease is super sticky, by the way.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a...
Alright, well unfortunately I've already got the bolts loose and hammered the heck out of those nuts and they won't come out, so I'm guessing that the bolt is rusted into the spring eye or something. Probably gonna have to cut the bolt loose. So let's hack them out of there. All right, well, that's it, guys. I gotta get some bolts to replace those ones I cut out. That's all there is to it.